our breakout session. It's a how-to guide on Panorama, Solutions for a Healthy Planet. Lucas and I will be telling you today about Panorama. We're both interns in the GIZ EbA team, and one of our responsibilities is sort of maintaining the platform and also reviewing solutions. So we hope that our experience helps you out here. And what we're aiming to do in this session is to help you to understand the advantages of sharing lessons learned using the Panorama structure to help other practitioners apply similar approaches. We hope that you will leave with some more insight into Panorama and the solutioning approach, and also knowledge of how to upload and search for solutions on the platform. So to that end, we'll start off with an introduction to Panorama. Then I'll show you how to navigate the portal and how to find solutions. Lucas will walk you through how to share a solution, and I'll give you some tips on how to write a good solution. And then we'll have a Q&A and discussion. So now we will have an opening survey. So I invite you all to check it out on Slido. All right, so the first question should be live. Are you all able to see it?
Wir sehen uns selber.
Oh, weird.
Ich glaube, du hast das falsche Fenster.
Possible. Let me try starting it again.
I can share the slide if you want.
It should be so the number is, I will also share it in the chat. And I will just share that slide again. Is the poll active?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right, I'm not seeing any responses as yet. Okay, so
excuse me, sorry, I just see the message go to Q&A. It's
yeah. No, so we're currently doing a Slido poll. So are you all familiar with the website Slido? You can just look it up, enter the number on this slide, and then you can do the question.
Can you paste the Slido link in the chat? MS Teams chat?
Sure.
Yeah, it would be fine.
All right. That should also work. All right, so all right, now we're getting some more answers. Seems to be about 50-50. About half of you have used it and half haven't. Any more responses? Okay, so now it seems that more of you have not used it. Okay, so hopefully this session will be helpful to you all. Now we'll go to the next question, which is, how did you find out about the Panorama platform? So we invite you to just select whichever option is how you first heard about Panorama. So it seems quite a few of you haven't heard about the platform before this, so we hope that you learn a bit more in this session. Still waiting on some more responses. Again, you can go to Slido using the link, or just go on the website and input this number, and then you can take part in the poll. All right, so some of you have heard about it from the EbA team, some from UNEP. Word of mouth, that's nice to hear. Other, whoever answered other, could you write that in the chat? That would be interesting to see how you heard of it. Okay, so let us go to the next question then. So that's an open question, and we'd like to find out what you'd like to get out of this session. So why did you join? What are you hoping to leave with? And you can just type in your responses. It's an open question. Okay, so know about other projects as case studies to learn from them. Yes, we'll show you how to find out about that for sure. Learn how to conceptualize an EbA solution and discuss how Solutions Portal can help with upscaling and transferal. Yeah, hopefully it will help with that and you'll find some of those things. Practical advice on how to use Panorama. That's exactly what this session is about, how the Panorama platform works. Okay, so we can definitely help you out with that. Understanding Panorama and how to use it in your own projects and connect with other relevant case studies should also be helpful for that. So now I will hand over to Lucas, actually, who will give you an introduction to Panorama. Lucas, you can share your screen.
Yes. So you should be able to see my screen now. Oh, no, okay. How about now?
Yep.
Perfect.
You can just start from that slide.
Perfect.
Because
So,
it's not in presentation mode.
yeah.
No, we actually see it in presentation mode. Wait. Oh, well, you can just carry on.
So, now that we know what you are looking for and what you are searching for from this session, which is obviously, as some of you have stated, a few concrete tips and tricks how to navigate the platform and how to work with it, we are going to actually do that. I'm going to start with first a introduction to Panorama. What is it? What's its purpose? How does it work in general? And who's behind it? And with that, we will start. You will probably know most of these organizations already. So the GIZ, IUCN, UN, World Bank, etc., etc. And those are the backers of this platform. And the platform has one goal, two goals actually, which
can you switch the screen? We are seeing the second screen.
Okay.
That's better. Ah, now it's gone. Yep, perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. So okay. The approach of the platform is best described with the solutioning approach. It's made up of two distinct columns. One is documentation, the other one is community. So the documentation part is clearly gather all the information we can get on EbA approaches around the world, EbA projects and solutions implemented, gather all that information in one place and make it accessible to the public. And that's where the community comes into play. The community aspect is as follows. It's all the members of the EbA community can access this community-generated knowledge via the platform. So if you are a mangrove, if you are in a mangrove project somewhere in Southern America, and try to, you can upload your solution to the platform, and somebody from Southeast Asia with a similar problem, also a mangrove reforestation program, can take your solution, take the examples and steps they have taken, and get a successful result. So those are the two main pillars of the platform: documentation and community. But what does it mean? What does a full solution mean? What constitutes a full solution? There's a specified set of criteria. It's first is thematic relevance, so it has to be relevant to be verified by our proofreaders on the platform. It has to be impactful, so you have to have a proof of impact that you provide in the solution, and it has to be replicable or scalable. It's clear that you have all your steps you have taken have to be able to implement it somewhere else around the world. So you should be able to take these steps, place them somewhere else, and get a similar result. What's not a full solution? A full solution is not a publication, brochure, grant, something like this, because it does not fulfill the criteria of the replicable or scalable, for example, or in a publication you most of the time don't have impact. So those are things you can't just upload. You have to specifically translate that into a solution. The definition is as follows: solutions are specific, applied examples of successful processes or approaches taken to solve a particular issue, problem, or challenge. They can be entire project or only aspects of a project, and typically encompass several phases of activity. And they're meant to be toolboxes. If you don't have all these criteria and can't fulfill them right now, the snapshot solution is the way to go for you. It's a quick and easy way to contribute your solution. It's much shorter and can be only a draft. So maybe you are in the very early phases of the implementation of your full solution project and might want to contribute anyways. Draft up in a snapshot solution in about 10-15 minutes, and you're good to go. The snapshot solution does not have to have include building blocks, which means you can which means it's shorter, and you cannot replicate it somewhere else as easily, because those defining steps you have to take are not included. But nonetheless, the snapshot solution is an easy and quick way to give a first draft and first idea to the community. The definition is as follows: the snapshot solution template is a shortened version of the full solution case study template. It captures a short description or abstract of the solution, paragraph of impacts, and information on the organizations and individuals involved. After that, if you have your idea in your head and you have secured all those criteria, you have to upload your solution to one of the available thematic communities, which are protected and conserved areas, marine and coastal, and the one that is most relevant to us in ecosystem-based adaptation and further, like agriculture and biodiversity, and so on and so on. And if you have done all this process and you have uploaded all your material and all the things that are necessary, other people around the world can take your solution or your snapshot solution, implement it locally with their problem, and can share their stories on the webpage on Panorama. And that's what uptake stories are. So here we have 4 best practice examples of what this should look like or could look like. And we are going to revisit them later on in the tour of the website. Now I'm going to hand over to Juanita, and she will show you how to navigate the website. Yeah.
Okay, so I will kind of give you all a guided tour to the Panorama platform. So here you all can kind of see what you see when you start on the page. Of course, Panorama. On the top, you can find the Explore buttons. You can look at solutions, building blocks, all uptake stories, and the thematic communities. You can also, under About, find out more information about Panorama, some news items, and collaborators. And under Resources, you can find relevant publications. There's also the option to change it to either English, French, or Spanish. And if you have an account, then here's where you would click and get a drop-down menu for the things that you can access. So if you want to contribute a solution, or if you have contributed solutions, here is where you would find your solutions, for example. Then here in the middle, you can find kind of a newsreel, so the latest information, if there's anything relevant, and also if there's anything going on. For example, when we had the Pathfinder Awards and submissions were open, that would have been announced here. Then scrolling down a bit, here you can explore a bit. It's very intuitive search functions, either to search by thematic access. You can look based on ecosystem here. There's a few of them. There's also different themes like biodiversity, financing, governance, etc. And I would invite you all to maybe open a tab and kind of explore either now or after the session to sort of see everything that there is. Here you can also easily go to whichever thematic community is relevant for you. For us, of course, it would be EbA. There's geographic access, which I'll show you just now. There's also access by challenge. So you can filter the search by climate challenges. There's quite a big drop-down menu, so you can select the exact challenges that you want to view solutions for. There's ecological, economic, and social. Each of those have a drop-down menu, so you can really kind of pinpoint exactly what you're looking for. There's also the option to search directly if you know the name of a solution that you're looking for, or if you want to search, for example, mangroves or agroforestry, then that's a really easy way to do it. Just to look at the solutions map. So this is pretty cool if you're looking in a local area. For example, I'm from the Caribbean, so say I want to zoom in and see, okay, what has been implemented in my area. There's nothing in Trinidad and Tobago, but in Barbados, I can see that there's something. And then if I scroll in, I can actually see the individual solutions that have been implemented there. So if you want to get a good idea of what has been implemented in your area or in a specific area, the map view is a cool way to do that. Now, just going back to the main page, scrolling further down, again, you see the new solutions, then the news items. Here is our Twitter feed. You can also follow the Panorama solutions on Twitter, panorama_planet. And at the bottom, there's uptake stories. Then, of course, about. This is really basic. And now I'll walk you through what a solution and, well, a full solution and a snapshot solution look like, as well as an uptake story. So I've moved us to the EbA thematic community. Now we are going to look at a full solution. So Armin, you'll be familiar with this one. So we're looking at one on community and gender-oriented ecosystem-based adaptation measures, Montserrat case, Brazil. Here on top, you can see it's a full solution because of this tag here. Actually, let me make it a bit bigger because I'm not sure you can see too clearly. Usually there'll be the title here. Right here, you can see the organization and the person who contributed it, and usually a photo. And you can also see when it was published and last edited, because it's possible to update it once it's been published. Then there is a summary at the top. This would always be in paragraph form, and it gives you an overview of what the solution is targeting, what methods it used, where it is, the focus, that kind of thing. Then we can look at classifications. So these tags help you to find solutions that are relevant. And also by looking at the tags, you can see exactly what a solution is addressing. So everything from the region and the scale of implementation to the type of ecosystem, which is addressed to the theme. So there could be things like ecosystem services, erosion prevention, land management. Here's some more details on urban and disaster risk management, the challenges. So that could be things like floods, erosion, if there's something like drought or extreme heat or something like that, that's where you would find it. The governance type, SDGs, Aichi targets, Sendai framework, business engagement approach. So all of that you can find in the classifications. It really is kind of an overview. Then we can see the location. So here would be a pin on the location of the solution, of course. There's also a short text description, so you can see where it is by name. Then the challenges. Here is described what challenges the solution is attempting to resolve. And that would be things like environmental, there might be deforestation, erosion, landslides. Here it's really nicely divided into environmental, social, and economic. Then the beneficiaries. So here you can describe who really benefited from the solution. And you can give precise or average numbers and also say how beneficiaries would have benefited from it. Then we look at the building blocks. This could be anywhere from 2 to 6. I'll walk you through one just now. And the names of the building blocks, you should try to do it in a way that is not too specific to the solution, but that you can kind of see a broader relevance. Then there would be a description of how the building blocks interact exactly, and some further details on the impacts. So here you can see the exact impacts that the solution would have had. So things like promoting income for the community, opening more opportunities, enabling joint work between various sectors, all of that you could put it in the impacts. And then the story is where we kind of get a more personal feel for the solution. This is usually given from the perspective of someone who either worked on the solution or who benefited from it or was involved in some way. And it is sort of giving a more inspiring and meaningful view into the work that was done. Then you can show pictures as well with captions of the solution. And it's also possible to show other contributors, other organizations, and also there's space to show further resources. So like if there's an article or a website or something like that that's online, you can link it right there. Now we're gonna take a quick look at a building block. Here you see, you can kind of scroll left and right to see the different building blocks. We're just gonna look at one. Similar to the solution, you have the title, the date. If you have an account, you can also save it to your favorites or create an update story, so you can kind of go back to reference it. Here again, there's kind of an overview of the building block where you're describing it. The classification, where you categorize it, describe the scale of implementation and the phase of solution. So like, was it before the project started? Was it during? Was it afterward? That gives more insight there. Enabling factors on what helped to put the building block in place, and also lessons learned. So things that need to be considered, things that maybe could be done better next time, things like that. And again, you have the space to share images and also resources of the work. So like here, you would see links where you could click and find out more. And now we're going to go back and I will show you a snapshot solution. So I'm just using the search button to do that. Here you just drop down, select, quite easy. As you can see, the tags here all show snapshot solutions. So you can really easily tell just from looking at the EbA community, which one's a snapshot, which one's a full. It looks kind of similar, title, photo, dates, and all of that. The summary is also the same, also classifications and location, that's all standard. But what you'll notice here is that instead of showing challenges and beneficiaries, it only lists the impacts. There's no building blocks, there's no interaction of building blocks, there also is not a story. So it's much less detailed than a full solution. And as Lucas said, that really makes it easier if maybe you don't have that much time or you don't have that much information. A snapshot solution might work better for you to share. But you can also share pictures and the other contributors' resources. That is all there. I also want to show you an uptake story. So you can find these on the bottom of the main page. So if you go to the homepage and scroll down, it's right there. And Lucas already described what this is. It's where someone kind of took a solution and was able to use it. The title and photo look pretty similar. Then we see there's 5 parts. So you describe the challenges, it's addressing description of how the uptake took place, the success factors that helped it to be implemented successfully, and also stumbling factors, so things that maybe were challenges or didn't work out so well, and then replication methodology. So if you find a solution is really helpful for you and you've been able to use it in your own work, then you can make an uptake, solution uptake to show how exactly you did that. And now I would like to show you all how to find solutions. But first, I would like to ask you all a question, and we're going to go back to Slido. So I'm dropping the link into the chat. And I'm also going to drop the event code. And now I will activate the first question. So before we go into how to search for solutions, I would like to find out if you all actually already have searched for solutions. So you all can just pop over to Slido and let me know if you'll have ever searched for solutions. Okay. So 50-50 so far. Some more yes, some no. Okay. All right, now some more answers. It still seems to be more or less even, but some of you haven't, so this should be helpful for you. All right, so I will carry on with the search explanation. So of course, from the homepage, there is this search option to kind of go by thematic access, thematic communities, challenges, and so on. But what is helpful if you know the thematic community you're looking in, which for us is EbA, then you go right into the EbA thematic community and you search from there. So there is the search field where you can enter if you know, like, okay, I'm looking for something with mangroves, I'm looking for something with desert, I'm looking for something with drylands. Maybe you can type in a keyword. You can search if you want to look within snapshot solutions or if you really want a full solution. You can also select your region. So there's drop downs here where you can kind of specify a bit. There's also the type of ecosystem. Again, there's drop-down menus, so you can pick the kind of ecosystem and then also specify a bit more. There is the theme. So these are the same themes you'd find on the homepage. There's drop-downs here again. Some with more options, some with less. And you can select here if there's any that's specifically relevant. You kind of will have to sort of look through and see what the overall topic is that's relevant and then maybe specify within that. Because of course there's a lot, so I won't take you through each one. And the same thing with challenges. So again, there's the climate, ecological, economic, and social challenges. And you can kind of click down and select exactly what you are looking for. So say, for example, again, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm looking for a solution in the Caribbean. say I am looking for something that is in a tropical evergreen forest, and I am having a challenge with the say extreme heat maybe, and I want to see if there's anything that is relevant to that. And here I can find, okay, this solution is relevant for the question that I have. And that's how it works. It is fairly straightforward. Maybe we can all try together now. Do any of y'all have a current challenge that y'all are working on where y'all would maybe like to search and see if y'all can find a solution that's relevant to it? You can write it in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and speak, or you can raise your hand, however you'd like to do it. Okay, so Rupesh says urban, flood, and Asia. So anywhere specific, and let's just select all of Asia, also possible. Then flood, that would be a climate challenge. There we go, floods. It is urban, so wait, ecosystem, urban, ecosystem built environment. Let's just select all. Do you have a preference between all solutions or full solutions? You can write it in the chat again.
Full solutions?
Okay, let's do full solutions. And let's see if, okay, so we don't have any there, which is a pity because it is quite a wide set of filters. Anybody has anything else you might like to search for? And let's see if we take out. Okay, if we search for solutions that are just in Asia and dealing with urban environments, then we find one with a food forest, but this is not relevant to floods. So depending on what it is, we have 169 solutions online right now. So you may end up finding like 5 or 10 solutions that are relevant. You may end up with 1 or 2, or you may end up with none, depending on what solutions are already there. And now I will hand over to Lucas, and he's going to show you all how to contribute a solution.
Right. I am going to show you how to navigate the platform if you want to contribute your solution. So you should see my screen now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Did we want to do the survey first?
Of course,
Okay.
do the survey first. Sorry.
So y'all can go. Actually, let me make it up. Let me make it live first. So y'all can go back to the same one that we were using just now. I'm putting it in the chat again. And I'm going to put the number in the chat again, because we would like to find out if you'll actually have already contributed a solution. So far, for people say no, they have not.
I mean, which is good, right? Because they are you're getting a quick instruction to it and can start right away after we are finished here.
And well, yeah, so far 6 people all know. 8 people no. Okay, so I'm not sure if the next question will be very useful then. I'm still gonna share just in case, because we want to find out then how many solutions you've contributed. But then of course, if you haven't contributed any, then you can't really answer this question. So I'll just leave this question live for like a minute. But I don't think we will get much answers here. So, all right, then Lucas, carry on with telling us how to. Somebody shared 2. Okay,
great.
Nice.
So you'll have to correct me if I'm doing something wrong. Okay, you should see my screen. And this is what it looks for you when you start to contribute your solution, and you have this button on the top. You just select it, contribute solution, and then have to choose if you want to contribute a full solution or a snapshot solution. Today we are going to do a full solution just because it's the more desirable and bit more complicated version. So we're going to select that, and we have a overview section ahead of us. So naturally, we are choosing the ecosystem-based adaptation portal here because it's the most relevant to us. And I am going to use the solutions who Anita used before to explain you the platform as a dummy solution to fill out the form. So we have the title here, Community and Gender-Orientated Ecosystem-Based Adaptation Measures. And next step is to fill in the location. So we are in Brazil, to be specifically in Santos, in São Vicente. So we are going to with Brazil. We are not going to upload this one. And yeah, if you have multiple locations implemented, you can add other countries, other locations. This one has only one, so we are going to leave it with that. Select your country, which is Brazil. Yeah, nice. Again here, if you have more locations, multiple locations where your solution has been implemented, you can add as many as you like. Summary is the next step. Here you can, as the name suggests, give a quick overview over your solution, give the people an idea of what they give other practitioners an idea of what you are working with, what's your problem, what's your solution like, and the next step would be to showcase your impact. So how and who did your solution benefit in the end? So we're going to fill that in right here. And please note that there are restrictions on the word count. So if I'm going to add a few more here, this is actually the most you can go. I'll add some so we can see the actual limitations of the form. Then you have to add a picture, which is a requirement, unless you can't upload your solution otherwise. So we're going to choose a picture, and then we'll do some copyright and the title, and save that one, and you have your picture right there. You can also add additional materials like videos, documents, and further links for further information if you want. And if you have that information, it's of course always better to have more information than less information. Then people and organizations involved. So the main implementing organization in this case is the GIZ, which is showcased here like this. So we're going to select GIZ and select here one of the suggestions. Other organizations are not present, so we're going to just go with GIZ again. Yes, and the contributor would in this case be Paula Moreira. Also from GIZ. And you have to include the contributor's email, which I don't have right now, which is why we're going to leave this one blank. So we are ready with the overview section of the solution. I'm going to save that now. So yeah, And there you see the character limits of the solutions. So you have for the summary character limit of 1040 characters, and for the 1040 characters, we have too many, so we're gonna delete them again. Perfect. So we have now the further possibilities to select. So if you want not only if you want your solution not only to be published in the, let's say in our case, EbA portal, you can also choose agriculture or marine or some of the other available options here. Save that one, so you can spread your solution a bit further. Save it. Next. Yes. So next up, challenges and beneficiaries. You have to state in your description what the challenges you are working on. What's your problem? What are you trying to solve? What are you trying to achieve? Otherwise, other people cannot really work with the solution because they really don't know what it's about and how your problem relates to their problem. Then you have to name your beneficiaries. In this case, it's 654 men and 721 women. And you are done with that. Okay, save next. Then you have to state the region you are implementing this project in. In this case, it's America, and in that South America. You're implementing this solution on a local scale and are doing so in an urban environment, and selecting some here. Other ecosystems, if you want to add some ecosystems here that are not included in these selections, you can add them here. We don't want to do that right now, but the possibility is there. So you have here a wide range of options to choose, ranging from biodiversity to world heritage to gender mainstreaming, whichever one applies to you. You just select. I'm gonna do a random one, and infrastructure and human development in cities, infrastructure and health and human beings. And then if your theme was not featured here, you can add it further down here. Species conservation and One Health interventions. If you are in that field, you can choose one of the available options right here. So from genetic conservation to One Health coordination mechanisms, you can choose everything. If none of these apply to you, you can leave them blank. Urban disaster risk management. Yeah, a lot of options to choose here. You can always select the ones you like. If none of them apply, don't select them at all. Governance type is what organization you are. We are in this case a private government actor because we are from the GIZ, and challenges would be just give a short keyword on your problem, on your challenge that you are trying to solve. Yeah, I'm gonna do some random ones here as well, and then drop further down to the ecological challenges. Whichever one benefits and fits for you, you just select your business engagement approach. So a lot of options to choose here, and it really depends on the solution you are trying to upload, which one are suitable for you. So, contribution to international targets. Again, whichever one of these you want to focus on, select those. Same here. We're gonna some randoms. Okay. If none of the targets you are trying to reach are featured here, you can add your own here again. And in the Sendai framework, same as before, add whichever target you try to reach to your select whichever target you try to reach. So next we have to add the title of the solution, and now you have to the submission, the link the PDF here. I'm not going to do that right now, but you have to do that right here for further information. Next up is the inspiring story. So you want to catch people with your story, try to bring them into your mind and tell them why this story and why your story is different, and why your solution is different, and why your solution is a great solution. And you have to add that. And in this case, it's yeah, if you want, you can read that just through that, and I'm going to leave it up a bit just so that you get an idea. I'm going to post the link to the session, to the selected solution, into the chat, so you can look over that again afterwards. And then you have to add a picture. We are going to do the same picture as before. Same here again. Copyright and title. Save that. Perfect. And you can add a photo caption. And next up. Next up are the building blocks, which are the most important part of the solutions, because they are the thing that makes a solution transplantable to other problems. So, as Juanita said before, you can have up to 6 building blocks, which are structured by title. We can use the one. Want to do 1. We can have 4 in this case, which is approach community-based solutions. Add a description and some enabling factors which allow the solution to be successful. Afterwards, you can post your lessons learned. As the solution is already implemented, the case is already closed, so you do have some learnings at this stage, and then can share them with the world and the community. And then again, what aspect does this this building touch? I'm going to select some randoms as before. Whichever one suits your needs, you're going to select that one and have the option to add some more. We are again on a local implementation scale and are at the moment at the monitoring and review phase. So review phase. We can add a picture again. Same as before, always the same, but pictures, I would really recommend adding pictures because they bring the whole story, the whole solution to life. And yeah, that's it. You can you can add some additional resources here for further reading, and have a link, which is not necessary but appreciated, down here. So we're going to save that building block, and we have now one building block for our solution. The more the better, but max is 6. So next step, yeah, we have we have to do at least 2 building blocks. So we're going to add another, just some random stuff right there. Bam, bam, bam. If you have less than 2 building blocks, a snapshot solution might be the way to go for you. So we're going to do that again. And I just cancel the solution. This doesn't matter. We have already finished the solution so far. There's nothing important coming from that point in onwards. And we have
Okay, then I will quickly take over, and then I will walk you through how to write a good solution. To wrap things up before we, let's see. Okay. Are you all seeing it as full screen? Okay, good.
yes.
All right, so I will try to make this quick because I know we don't have too much time left, and it would be nice to take at least a question or two. So to start off, title and summary, you want your title to sort of get to the point. If there's a project name, include that. You can also mention the aim, any tools or methods that are used, also the location or ecosystem. This will also help if people are searching for something relevant to that they could find it. And you can see some good titles on the right of the screen. So they have things like the title, the tool, the region, that kind of thing. The summary, this should always be in paragraph form, not bullet points. You want it to have an overview of the project, to state the purpose, the goals, also any methods or tools. So people should be able to kind of read from the summary, is the solution relevant to what I'm looking for? And then they can carry on. Next, the classifications. I kind of mentioned it before, but what is really important with the classifications is to make sure that they are not too many tags or SDGs or IT targets. A common thing we come across when reviewing is that there might just be a really large amount of tags because people say, oh, you know, it's kind of relevant to gender mainstreaming, it's kind of relevant to adaptation, it's kind of relevant to all these different things. And then you end up with a lot of tags. But that's not very helpful if someone is trying to search and find stuff for that. So you really want to make sure that the tags you have are all directly relevant to the solution and try to keep it as short as possible. So don't add too many tags. Then with the location, this is fairly straightforward. The pin marks the direct location of the solution or the solution provider. Usually it will be one pin, but there could also be multiple ones if there are multiple locations. And the location should also be listed in text under the text description. Then challenges and beneficiaries. Again, what's really important with the challenge is you want to say what are the problems the solution is trying to solve. So these might be drought, flooding, erosion, things like that. It is not problems with the implementation of the solutions. So if there's a lack of funding to implement it, that is not a challenge. The challenge is what the problem is that you want to solve. And then the beneficiaries. Here you can add a clear description of the communities or the groups that are benefited. If you have numbers or even just a rough average, then you can include that there. And you can also briefly include how these groups benefit. So you could have 200 fisher folk were able to be further employed or something like that, or it could be intangible, that people learn a new skill, or that livelihoods were improved, things like that. And these could be in paragraph or bullet form. Either one is fine. Building blocks, I don't think I need to discuss this too much because we already have kind of discussed it a lot. But what is important here, the titles should be somewhat general so that you can see how it could be recombined and replicated to other practitioners. And that is kind of applies to the whole building block. You don't want to make it super specific to your project, because the idea is really, okay, what is the element that helped make it successful that could be used elsewhere? So make sure that the relevance beyond the use in that solution is really clear. And this is not the step-by-step process of the solution. It's really more the success factors. And we've already seen all the things it includes, so I don't need to go through that. Then here you can see an example, like the names of the building blocks are really good here, like analysis of economic and socio-environmental situation. That would be applicable to a lot of different situations. The classifications are relevant and they're not too much. And then the enabling factors and lessons learned. You want to give enough information that it's helpful, but not too much also. So kind of just make sure that it's relevant and helpful. Then how the building blocks interact. Here you're describing how the building blocks work together to make it successful. You can use photos if you have them. Impacts, you want to make it measurable if possible. If not, you can also include intangible ones. And this just describes what the solution has achieved. The story, as you've seen, should be something personal, preferably from someone who's benefited, and it shows the real life on the ground impact of the solution. Then extras. So pictures are quite important because they help to illustrate it, and try to include images that show people instead of only landscapes. The caption should be descriptive and accurate. If there are any other contributors or partner organizations, then you can include them as well. And if you have further resources like articles, publications, webinars, and so on, you can also link those at the bottom. So those are really helpful to people who are trying to use the solution. Then we only have a few minutes left, but I think someone had wanted to ask a question. Okay, so Angsa Fellendorf, I'm not sure if I'm butchering your name. If you have your question.
But that's okay.
So, how do you pronounce
I'll use the audio to make it more interactive. I hope that's fine.
Yes.
So I work at UNEP on a project where we focus on identifying adaptation solutions in mountain ecosystems, and then further work on the transferal and upscaling potential. So I was wondering, and I mean, first of all, congratulations on the great Panorama Solutions portal. That with and now I have to check what's the exact wording again, with the replication, the uptake stories, how you approached this. So how do you really promote that people check the solutions, and then I don't know, what kind of scale do they look at, like to uptake or to upscale, like, and what kind of criteria do you have to like that it qualifies as an uptake story? So maybe if you could just explain a little bit the process there, and also what kind of criteria you use. Thank you.
The uptake solution is a pretty new feature, I think only within the last few months, and currently there's only 4 of them on the platform. I don't think it needs necessarily to be upscaling. It's more that it has replicated some factors from a previous solution. So if someone was able to look at the building blocks of an existing solution and they saw, okay, these building blocks are relevant to my work. Oh wait, I'm still screen sharing. Let me stop. And so if someone was able to look at a existing solution and say, okay, these building blocks are relevant and I'm able to use that in my solution, then you should be able to have enough to sort of write an uptake solution. So once you have the challenges, description of how you implemented it, success factors, stumbling blocks, the replication methodology, if you have that, you can write it, and it would go through the same process as submitting a solution, that you would write it up, that it would get reviewed, and then if there's anything that needs to be corrected, we would send the comments back to you, and then you
Maybe
can.
just one small follow-up question, and then I'll mute myself again. Do you also look at the funding mechanism, like how do they fund the transferal of the solution? And the other question is there somehow a facilitation of the knowledge exchange so that the original solution provider exchanges with the person who takes it up? That would be really interesting.
I don't believe so. That's a very interesting comment. But what is also featured on the platform is that when someone has shared a solution, you can sort of scroll to the bottom of the solution and you can see their name, and there's also an option to contact them. So usually you can see their email as well. I will share my screen to let you all see what I'm talking about. So this is from an uptake solution, but it works like this for full solutions as well. And you can click on the provider's name, and then you can check out their contact information. So it's not really facilitated by the platform as such, but because that information is there, if, say, you found a solution, it's super relevant, you found it was really helpful, you'd like to exchange with the provider, you can actually scroll down, check out their contact information, and reach out to them over LinkedIn, email, whatever, and get in touch. I don't think there's exactly a funding mechanism. I think it's more about the ideas of the elements that can be implemented. So like if someone has an idea of, okay, what they did there was relevant to me, maybe I try that in my project, and like you have funding for your project, but you're not sure how to go about it, like that could be helpful in that situation. Okay. Are there any other questions? Tim. You sound really soft.
Maybe that's better.
There we go. Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to say thanks for the presentation. It was really nice, really insightful. Just a quick question because I know we're running out of time. We are doing some piloting activities, like rather short projects, duration maximum 1 year. And of course, would also like then to mainstream the experiences. So I think Panorama would be a nice solution for that. But then the question is, what would you say, how long in advance should you plan your publication on Panorama? Is it necessary to, for example, include it in the operational planning? Is it necessary to beforehand think about what kind of information shall we gather to put that on the platform, or is it something you really can do at the end? Because for us, we are currently right now at the process of setting up the project, right? And then we're thinking about how to design knowledge management. So that's an interesting question then for us.
That is a really good question. I think the information you need for Panorama is not really stuff that you would not get otherwise. So things like the impacts, that probably is something that you might be measuring anyway with KPIs. You may want to kind of look at the things that are required and keep an eye on that, of maybe data gathering or something like that, just to make sure that you do have the information. A solution usually wouldn't be shared on Panorama until it's been completed and there are like definite concrete impacts. So it can't be shared until a project is done and the solution has been proven to be effective. So in that sense, it might be kind of something that you sort of keep in the back of your mind from the beginning. Okay, at the end, I want to do this. And then maybe you make a note that, okay, at this point, one thing we will do is publish it on the platform. But I also don't think that it's so complex to write one that you would necessarily need to make any extra steps. It would kind of just be that you're aware that, okay, there's another avenue to share this information. I don't know if that was helpful to answer your question.
Yeah, I think it was. And
Okay.
in any case, I guess probably I will get back to you on that. But
yeah, you can always just email me if you have any other questions. Okay,
thanks.
I think we've kind of gone about 5 minutes over time. So thank you all for your patience. And I hope that this has been helpful to you all and that you all have gotten some more insight into how you can use the platform, not only to get ideas, but also to share and promote your own work and maybe even to get in touch with other people who are working on similar issues. So thank you for your time and attention. Thank you. All right. And bye, everybody.
Bye.